Hey Cougs, my name is Cullen Watkins and you're watching In the Game, where I'll be going over the hottest sports news from Houston and beyond. A new face is taking the basketball world by storm, and no, sadly, we're not talking about me, but we're talking about the NBA's draft pick of the decade, future 2023 draft pick Victor Wembanyama. The 7'4" center from France has recently been making waves between NBA fans and players alike due to his unique play style that is rarely seen in today's game. Wembanyama's offensive game is a hybrid between a traditional center and a modern-day guard, destroying defenders in the paint with moves that would make Hakeem the Dream impressed, while also having the ability to drain threes over defenders from way downtown. But the show doesn't stop on defense. Victor's lean 7'4" frame allows him to rack up multiple blocks a game from almost anywhere on the court. And the Frenchman never lets even the best rebounders out-rebound him, as he's able to use his impressive 8-foot wingspan to easily seize rebounds to his heart's delight. But don't just take it from me, hear it from NBA superstars themselves. Players from the likes of Steph Curry, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and LeBron James have all shared their input on the prospect. In regards to the prospect, Curry said Victor was like a NBA 2K creative player, while LeBron James called Wembanyama a generational talent and an alien. Fans and analysts are even going as far to say that the French center is the greatest prospect since James himself. While this can be debated, Victor's in-game performance cannot be understated. Wembanyama's French team, the Metropolitan 92s, recently traveled to the United States to play 2 games against the G League Ignite, who featured another top prospect of the 2023 draft in slashing point guard Scoot Henderson. In these 2 games, Wembanyama showed out, combining for 73 points, 15 rebounds, and an astounding 9 blocks. Watching his game tapes, he showed flashes of elite-level defense with an offensive game that some say has hints of the offensive game of NBA superstar Kevin Durant. Now, with this said, there are some concerns about the big man's health moving forward, since players his height have not had a good history of injuries in the past. But regardless, it's safe to say that NBA teams this year are all drooling to get their hands on this generational talent in the upcoming 2023 draft. For all my Houston Texans fans out there, we're always searching for some light at the end of the tunnel during this rough football season. Between a tie to start the season and a 9-point offensive performance, Texans fans haven't been on the good side of things for a good while. But this narrative changed when the Texans played their AFC South Division rivals, the Jacksonville Jaguars, on October 9th, as Houston defeated Jacksonville 13-6 to pick up their first win of the season. It was a back-and-forth affair through the first 2 quarters as both of the teams couldn't get their offense going, each team settling for a pair of field goals that left the game knotted up at 6-6 headed into the half. Coming out of halftime, the Texans' defense looked sharp as they collected 2 interceptions in the quarter alone due to the likes of Desmond King and 2022 third overall pick Derek Stingley Jr. But despite the impressive defense from Houston, quarterback Davis Mills and his offense was again unable to put any offense on the board as both teams went scoreless in the third. Through the first 3 quarters, it seemed to be a defensive game as both offenses seemed to be at a standstill, and many fans were expecting the same narrative to play out in the fourth. But well, Houston rookie running back Dameon Pierce had other plans in mind. In the fourth quarter, the 4th-round draft pick out of Florida put the offense on his back as he powered through Jacksonville defense with a 20-yard run in which he broke 6 tackles before going down at the 2-yard line. And with 3 minutes and 11 seconds left to go in the game, Pierce punched it in for what would be the game-winning touchdown. Pierce finished the game with 99 rushing yards and a touchdown. This touchdown extends Pierce's touchdown streak to 3 games, as the rookie currently ranks 5th in the NFL for rushing yards and leads all NFL rookies in the same stat. This win now puts the Texans at a record of 1-3-1 and also puts Jacksonville below 500 with a 2-3 record. Coming off a bye week, the Texans hope to expand their incredible winning performance in Jacksonville as they face off against a struggling Las Vegas Raiders team in Las Vegas on October 23rd. The Houston Astros are back in the playoffs for the 7th time in the past 8 years as they took on a known division rival in the Seattle Mariners in the ALDS. The tensions were high heading into this matchup, as in a best-of-5 series, Both of the teams knew that each game had way bigger implications than a traditional best-of-7 playoff series. The series started off at Minute Maid Park in downtown Houston for Game 1, as future Hall of Famer Justin Verlander took the mound against Seattle pitcher Logan Gilbert in front of 41,000 anxious Astros fans. It did not look good for the Astros early on, as Seattle smashed 10 hits and 6 runs in only 4 innings off of a rattled Justin Verlander. But the script seemed to flip in the second half of the game. With the help of a 2-run home run in the bottom of the 8th, Houston third baseman Alex Bregman brought the game within 2 runs heading into the 9th. And in the bottom of the 9th, down by 2 runs, the Astros completed an improbable 2-out rally as Astros left fielder Yordan Alvarez smashed a 3-run homer off of Mariners pitcher Robbie Ray to win Game 1 for the Astros with a score of 8-7. I was actually lucky enough to be there in person, and let me say, I have never heard anything as loud as Minute Maid that night. I'm surprised I can still even talk after screaming so loud. But going into Game 2, the Astros look to continue their momentum against an elite arm in Seattle pitcher Luis Castillo. The game was a low-scoring affair as Castillo mowed through the Houston order, and Astros all-star pitcher Framber Valdez continued to do the same to Seattle. Going into the bottom of the 6th, the score was 2-1 with the Mariners in the lead, and it looked like the Astros offense was done for the day. But once again, Yordan Alvarez decided there was still more in the tank as he delivered a beautiful piece of hitting, smashing a 2-run opposite field homer into the Crawford boxes to make it a 3-2 game with the Astros in front. Houston would end up closing out the game with a score of 4-2, landing a commanding 2-0 series lead as they headed to Seattle for Game 3. Now, one thing's for sure, if you were expecting more of the same offense for both teams, boy, you couldn't have been more wrong. Under a tremendous Seattle crowd filling T-Mobile Stadium for the Mariners' first playoff game in 20 years, both teams' offenses got off to a frigid cold start as Seattle pitcher George Kirby kept the Astros top of the order at bay while also getting out of multiple pickles with runners in scoring position. And for the Astros, veteran starting pitcher Lance McCullers Jr. performed outstandingly as usual, finishing his night giving up 2 hits and 7 strikeouts, which was good enough to put McCullers with the second most postseason strikeouts by a pitcher in Astros history. But as the night slowly went on and extra innings slowly crawled past, the Astros found themselves tied 0-0 going into the 18th inning. The game seemed like it was going to go on for an eternity. But with a swing of the bat that would make Astros playoff legend Chris Burke proud, Houston rookie Jeremy Pena smashed a solo home run to give the Astros a 1-0 lead going into the bottom of the 18th, where Astros pitcher Luis Garcia would complete the sweep, giving the Astros a 1-0 win to send them to their 6th straight ALCS appearance. There were a lot of great performances in this series, but none were better than Air Yordan himself. Alvarez would finish the series with 2 go-ahead home runs and 7 RBIs. It's safe to say that the series would have been different without his contributions, which is why I'm giving him my MVP award for the series. The Astros will face the winner of the Cleveland Guardians and New York Yankees series as Houston will look to get back to the World Series for the 2nd year in a row. Thank you so much for watching In the Game. If you enjoyed it, make sure you subscribe to Coug TV so you don't miss any uploads in the future. My name is Cullen Watkins, and all the crew here at Coug TV would like to thank you for watching, and go Cougs!